What's up everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Duncan Dimanche. I made a first video on full frame cameras and which one was the cheapest one with 5 lenses, with 5 kit lenses, the cheapest one. So it's going to be the same thing, but I'm going to use the higher end lenses. So the 2.8 and the 1.4 for the primes. So in this video I want to see which one is the cheapest one, which one is the most expensive one, and it'll be fun to see also which one is the lightest one. So I chose the best full frame cameras of each brand other than the D5 and the 1DX and all those big ones. But I want to choose the best one you could have for each brand. And then I chose 5 lenses, 3 zooms, so I went with the super wide angle starting from 14mm. Then I went with the 24-70 and then 70-200. The fourth lens is the 50mm f1.4 and the last lens is the 85mm f1.4, which is an amazing lens for portrait. And the Canon unfortunately do not have an 85 1.4 yet. Hopefully they'll come up with one. So I had to choose the 85 1.2, which is more expensive and way heavier than any other lenses in here. And the Pentax, unfortunately I could not find an 85mm 1.4. They only have a 77mm 1.9, which is the closest I could get to 85mm. So in the first video I had a lot of complaints because people said that it wasn't fair. I chose some lenses and some really old lenses. Here it's pretty simple. I went with the best one they had. The only complaint that you could have is I did not go with the latest lenses. Like the Canon 16-35, I went with the Mark II and not the Mark III version because I thought the Mark II was plenty good enough and cheaper also than the Mark III, of course. And with the Nikon, the 24-70, I did not go with the VR version because first of all, it's more expensive and it's not as good as the old one. It's barely better, actually a bit worse. And the 70-200, I did not go with the new one, which is amazing apparently, but it's super expensive. It's almost $3,000. And the VR2 version is once again plenty enough. And the Nikon D810 has the best battery capacity. It can take 1,200 photos while the other are way below. So I added a few batteries on each of those brands. Even the Canon only shot 900 photos. So I added one extra battery, and that will add up in the weight and the final cost. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. If you did not like this video, hit the dislike button. Leave me a comment, let me know what you think about this, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that already. Alright, so there you have it. Pentax, because it uses Tamron's lenses for the 24-70 and the 15-30, the prices are obviously very low. But then it's followed by Canon and Nikon, tied for the second spot, and then Sony A-mount system at $12,736, so that's $2,000 more than the Canon, and then the E-mount system is at $13,240, and that's $2,632 more than the Canon. That's mainly due to the 50mm 1.4 because it's super expensive, as you can see. And now comes the weight, and the A-mount system, surprisingly, is the lightest system at 5,064 grams, and followed by Pentax, Nikon, and Canon, which are really similar. And the Sony E-mount, once again, because of the 50mm, is a lot heavier than all the other ones. And here's the graph I did of the lenses and how much they weigh, so you can pause here if you want to take a closer look. Okay, I did the same thing but without the 50mm because it was not really fair for the E-mount because of the very high price of its 50mm. So it evens out the prices a bit. The E-mount is still $1,500 more than the Nikon, and the A-mount is $2,000 more than the Nikon. And without the huge 50mm, the Sony E-mount system takes the first place by quite a big margin, 200 grams compared to the A-mount and 300 grams compared to the last three. And here's a graph without the 50mm lenses. So what did I learn doing this? I learned that Nikon and Canon are very similar in prices. They're pretty much the same prices. A lot of people came up to me saying Canon was cheaper than Nikon, and I mean obviously the prices are very similar. And we learned that Pentax needs new lenses, definitely needs new lenses for the full frame sensors. Sony has a big gap in the 50mm department to fill up, at f1.4 because it does have the 55mm f1.8, which is an amazing lens, but it's not f1.4. And Samyang came up with one that has autofocus for the Sony E-mount system, so it's a 50mm f1.4. That's a very good alternative. And when it comes to weight, they're all pretty much the same, depending on, you know, of course, which lens you're gonna buy. But in the end, I've done tons of reviews on, you know, different weight, and the mirrorless system is definitely not the lightest one. They do have the lightest bodies, but when it comes to lenses, it just evens out in the end. And I hope that this video will make some people stop saying that the mirrorless system is lighter than the DSLRs. So if you're willing to travel light, the Micro Four Third is the only option here. The lenses are so much lighter, so much smaller than the DSLRs, and than the full frame and the crop system. And if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you did not like it, leave me a thumbs down and let me know why. Let me know what I should have done, and let me know what you're angry about, because a lot of people are angry on YouTube. I've realized that. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please feel free to do so, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Au revoir. And I want to finish this video with an amazing quote from a photographer who said, "Teach your kids photography because they won't have enough money left to buy drugs." And it's so true.